Los Angeles Clippers announced that Kawhi Leonard will be out indefinitely, so there's no timetable on his return. It's unfortunate to hear as the Clippers are opening up a new arena. They lost Paul George in the offseason. Now they're gonna have to rely on James Harden to carry the team. So prayers up to Kawhi, hope he heals soon. This has probably been going on since the Olympics when he had to drop out. But it's just unfortunate that this is what it's come to. The Motor City Machine Guns have signed with WWE and made their debut on the SmackDown brand. Amari Cooper and Devontae Adams were both traded to the AFC East. Amari Cooper going to the Bills and Devontae Adams going to the Jets. Both of those impactful moves, two great receivers. They both get they upgraded their number one position. Uh, Sabrina Ionescu hit a game 1 and 3 in game three of the WNBA finals. Those and out of those games, that was the only one I missed. I had to watch the highlights of that. And the NFL was considering narrowing the goalposts. So they want to make the goalposts shorter for some reason. I don't know if it's because kickers are kicking higher percentages or what, but I feel like the kickers have just gotten better. And it's even kickers that still miss extra points and miss field goals. So I don't see the purpose in them changing that. But welcome to Weekly Sports Talk with Ed, episode 17. And the first thing I'm gonna dive into is the WNBA Finals. Last week, I came on here to talk about game one. As the Lynx had took game one, a big delivery to win the series. Thought they win it. I thought they won it in 4 games. Didn't think it'd be stretched out as far as it was. But game two, the Liberty, they dominated game two. So, Brianna Stewart had 21 points, 9 rebounds. They jumped out to a 10-point lead to start the game. And the Liberty just had control of this one. This was the only game in the series that wasn't close, and the Liberty was just able to pull away. In game three, that's the game winner I talked about that Sabrina hit. She only had 13 points and 6 rebounds and 6 assists in that game, along with 5 rebounds. But Brianna Stewart had 30 points, 11 rebounds. Nafisa Collier, she had 22 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 steals. And that game, I only saw the highlights of because I was very busy that Wednesday, so I did miss game three. I was able to see the game winner. Sabrina Nessie, one of the best shooters in the league. You want her taking that shot to end the game, especially in the finals coming up. Then now in the Liberty, they're up 2-1, headed to game four. Just need to win game four, and they'll win the championship for the first time. The Liberty, they're 0-5 in the WNBA finals. This is their sixth finals appearance, and they've yet to win one. And the Lynx, they've won 4 championships. They're tied with two other teams for the most all time. If they win the finals, then they had the most in WNBA history. So game four happened last night. It was a great game. This was the only game where it was a back and forth the entire time. Like in the other games, there were 10-point leads, 15-point leads, but in this game, the largest lead was 6. The Liberty and Lynx, they were going back and forth fighting the entire time. Sabrina Ionescu and Brianna Stewart, they both struggled in this game four. And both the games that they lost, games one and game four, Sabrina and Brianna, they struggled equally. So that's obviously gonna happen with your top two stars. If they both struggling, then it's gonna be difficult for you to win. So just one of them is on, it makes it easy for the Liberty to win because they have a talented team. They were the best team in the league for a reason. But then the Lynx won the free throw battle in game four. They had 20 free throws to the Lynx. The Lynx had 20 free throws to the Liberty's 9. And then the coach for the Liberty, she was pretty mad about that. And I seen her post game conference, and she was talking about they weren't getting a fair amount of calls. I feel like uh, few of the calls could have went the other way, but for the most part, the game was officiated pretty fair. And they're doing the best they can in a crucial game because they don't want all the blame to go to them in the most important part of the WNBA season. And for the Lynx, Kayla McBride, she finished with 19 points. And then uh, Bridget Carlton, she hit the last 2 free throws to put them up 82-80. And then what they wanted to do with the Liberty, the last play, they wanted to get it to Jonquel Jones inside for an easy layup. So they just ended at the overtime. but the Lynx defended it really well to where if you passed to it would have been a turnover, or yeah, it definitely would have been a turnover. So they ended up they had a timeout though. They probably should have called it because he ended up giving the ball to Sabrina and she threw up a three with 2 seconds left. That's all she could do. She ended up missing it. That's really all they could do in that situation. But now the series is tied 2 games apiece. It's heading to game 5, and game is important for both franchises because the Minnesota they weren't expected to be here in the preseason poll. In the preseason polls, they were supposed to finish outside the playoffs, and they could bring home their fifth franchise championship and had the most by any WNBA franchise. But the Liberty can win their first, but if they lose, they'll be 0-6 in the finals. So this game is extremely important for both teams. But I feel like it's more important for the Liberty. They were just here last year and lost to the Aces. And in the playoffs, they took out the Aces who beat them last year. So Sabrina Nescu, Brianna Stewart, they had to step up for the Liberty. They both had to be on in this game 5. This most important game of your season for both teams. Even Minnesota, Caleb McBride and Feature Collier, they got to step up. It's like, and you haven't heard me say Nafisa Collier's name that much uh, as I've been recapping it, but he's had a solid series. But yeah, they had to step. I'm expecting a great game 5. All these games except for game 2 have been decided by just a few possessions, and it's been really fun to watch. It's almost WNBA season is almost coming to an end, but the NBA season is starting up. So, so I'm gonna talk about some of the games. So the NBA season starts on it starts this upcoming Tuesday, which is the 22nd. Yeah, October 22nd. Then opening night, you get the Celtics versus Knicks in TD Garden. Uh, the Knicks, they got the new additions with Cat, with Yeti, and Mikal Bridges. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out. Probably won't be no Porzingis. I don't know how long Porzingis is out. This is gonna be a fun game. Get the season started. Think I'll be at work when it comes on, so I just catch up on it in the morning. But that's gonna be a really good game, the Celtics and the Knicks. Then the following that is the Lakers versus Timberwolves in LA. Then you got the new look Lakers, new look Timberwolves. Dalton Connect, I think he's gonna make an immediate impact as a rookie. Don't know if it'll be shown first night, but I think he's gonna be solid. It's gonna be interesting to see JJ Redick as a coach and what he does, the different adjustments he makes. Then on the Timberwolves, you got Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo making their official debuts with the Timberwolves. I think Anthony Edwards is going to explode. He's going to have a great game. Then the other games that's going to be on TV, you got the Bucks versus 76ers. So you're going to get Giannis versus Embiid the second day of the season. You got the Clippers versus Suns, which that would have not knowing that Kawhi's out as it was announced a few days ago. Not gonna get the Kawhi versus Kevin Durant matchup, and I think that's an ESPN game. So it's gonna you'll still have James Harden, but you still got the Suns big three. That sucks that it won't be no Kawhi, because he's definitely one of the reasons why some of those seats have been bought for that game, but he won't be playing. You got the Mavericks versus Spurs. Gonna get Wemby versus Luka week 1. That should be a great game. See CP3 playing with Wemby. He's going to feed Wemby the ball all the time. Also, OKC versus the Nuggets, two of the best teams out west last year. Two MVP candidates at Shea and Jokic going at it. What other games do we have? The Pacers versus Knicks. That's rivalry kind of started last year in the playoffs. It even carried over to WWE with Brunson and Halliburton. They got a fun little rivalry going on there. The Suns and Lakers get LeBron versus Kevin Durant. It's always a fun matchup. Clippers got another game on TV against the Nuggets. Then you got the Magic and Grizzlies. They're gonna get a TV game. That's good for them. Two young teams going at it. Paulo Banchero, former #1 pick. Ja Morant, former #2 pick. It's gonna be cool seeing them go at it. It's gonna be a grinded out game. But both of these teams, they have potential to be top 10 defenses. I think Orlando will have a top 3 defense this year. The Grizzlies, their defense will be top 12 at worst, could be top 10 if all goes well. Then you got the Lakers and Kings. Friday, I think that's Saturday night. Get young De'Aaron Fox and that squad with the DeRozan on there going against LeBron and AD. Yeah, those are just some of the games to open up the first week. Feel like a lot of those games are gonna be really good. The Clippers games, don't know how to feel about those with no Kawhi, but I'm excited to watch these games. I think it's gonna be great. And it's just great that the NBA season is back. Moving on to the next topic, the PBA Strike Derby is coming up. I forgot what I gotta check the day again, but essentially what the PBA Strike Derby is, it's when the best bowlers and the best bowlers in the league, and it stems from I got it. It stems from them throughout the season in the elite league, the different tournaments they had, how many strikes they had, and the 8 guys with the most strikes they get to participate in the PBA Strike Derby, which is October 27th. So I'm just be giving my predictions. Uh, yeah, so the first match that we got is Chris Vile versus Arturo Quinterner. Chris Vile, he had the most strikes, so I'm taking him in this matchup. That's pretty much it. You got number 4, Andrew Anderson versus number 5, EJ Tackett. This is going to be a really good matchup. It's And then in a sport like bowling, there's so much pressure on yourself because it's notoriously known as a one-on-one sport. So you're trying to do what you can on your own. So it just comes down to who you think is going to finish with more strikes. I think EJ Tackett will come out of this one, but this will probably be the best matchup. It's going to be fun to watch. You got the number 2, Paki Harani versus number 7, Jesper uh, Stevenson. I think Paki is going to win this matchup. Like, I don't think this one would be close. 2 versus 7. Then you got the 3 versus 6, which I think could be really entertaining. Jason Belmont versus Cal Troop. Cal Troop, my favorite bowler, didn't have as many strikes this year. Then, unfortunately, I think Jason Belmont to win. I think it'll be fun, and all these guys are capable of winning. But you just never know, especially when it's just them going one-on-one, trying trying to figure out who can get the most strikes. So that leads me to my second round predictions, which would be 1, Chris Vi against 5 ranked DJ Tackett. Taking Chris Vi, he's probably the most consistent out of all these guys. That's why he ended up as number 1 this season. Then you got number 2, Packy versus 3, Jason Belmont. I would take Jason Belmont in that matchup. And obviously, after it happens, I'm gonna recap it either on my channel or on the podcast because it all happens the same day. And then uh, they'll leave me with the finals of Chris Lau versus Jason Belmont. I think Jason Belmont will end up winning it as the 3 seed. I think he end up with the most strikes in the PBA Strike Derby. That pretty much caps off my predictions for that. Next, Travis Hunter made an interesting comment about Ashton Jeanty. He was saying, I forgot what question they asked him, but basically they was asking him about the Heisman and who he feels like he should win it because these guys are the 2 most talked about guys right now. Because a few of the quarterbacks like Ken Ward, Jalen Milroe, Jackson Dart had a few bad performances and lost some crucial games that dropped them in the rankings. But guys like Ashton Jeanty and Travis Hunter have rised up. And Travis Hunter made the argument that nobody's doing what I'm doing, playing both sides of the ball, playing as many snaps as I am. So I feel like I should be Heisman despite Ashton Jeanty having a great season. And I think both of these guys are really good candidates for Heisman. Now for the stats, Travis Hunter, I didn't I wrote this down last night because I did because they had the even amount of games played. Boise State is on a bye week. Colorado played, but I don't have the stats from their game against Arizona today. So if you're wondering why the stats might be, if the stats sound miscalculated or whatever, it's because I don't have the ones from the Arizona game. But as and my stance on Travis Hunter's statement about what he said, I don't like the argument because it's like everybody plays different sides of football. You got special teams, you got offense, you got defense, and all these guys do different things. And Travis Hunter, he does a great job doing what he's doing. He's had a great season. He's definitely in the running for Heisman. But what Ashton Jeanty's doing, I don't think anybody's done that before. Even when you look at some of the Heisman running backs that from the past, he's already on pace to surpass them in just a few weeks. It's only week 7, right? Well, week 8. Well, it's week 7. It's week 7 or 8. But Ashton Jeanty for Boise State, who is currently they're ranked 15th. They have a 5-1 record. Jeanty has on the season 126 carries, 1,248 yards, 17 touchdowns, averaging 9.9 yards per carry. And he had 0 fumbles. He's not fumbled the ball once. And he doesn't do a lot of receiving, but he has 9 receptions, 39 yards, a 4.3 average, and 1 touchdown. And what's so impressive about that is that he's averaging 9.9 yards per carry. He's averaging almost 10 yards every time he gets the ball. And the fact that he carries such a heavy load and hasn't fumbled not once this season is very impressive. And then even the receiving stats, it's like that's something you could do in one game. So it's not like it's not like he does much receiving, but he's mainly running the ball, and he already has over 1,000 rushing yards on the season. He made a bet with his teammates that if he doesn't get 2,000 rushing yards, he'll cut his dreads. They played 6 games, and he has almost 1,300, so he's definitely gonna get it. And because of him, he could lead Boise State all the way to the playoffs. And I don't know what their schedule looks like, but I know they've been having a good season, so I hope he can do it. And whoever wins the Heisman, it doesn't affect me. Just congratulations to whoever does win it. And now Travis Hunter stats. He has 49 receptions, 587 yards, 6 touchdowns, and those stats on offense as a receiver. Now as a defensive back, he has 16 tackles, 11 of them solo, 5 assists. He has 3 pass deflections, 1 forced fumble, and 2 interceptions. And Colorado has a 4-2 record. And for both of these guys, these teams won't be the same without them. The Boise State without Ashton Jeanty, they wouldn't be doing much. Colorado without Travis Hunter, they aren't doing much. Both of these guys are very valuable to their teams, and they both provide a lot, but in different ways. What Travis Hunter provides, he provides a lot on offense, and he provides a decent amount on defense. Ashton Jeanty, what he provides on offense, that's just unmatched. There's nobody doing as much as he can. So I feel like both of these guys are deserving of being in the Heisman race. But Travis Hunter's argument that you've never seen anybody like him, the same can be applied for Ashton Jeanty because we've seen great running backs in college football, but we've seen Deion Sanders play both ways. But Travis Hunter, nobody's had the snap count that he's had playing on offense and defense. He's playing majority of the game. Then Ashton Jeanty, we haven't seen a running back as good as him getting almost 10 yards a carry and having almost 1,300 yards through just 6 weeks, 6 or 7 weeks of the season. So if I had to go with somebody right now, I would take Ashton Jeanty first as the Heisman winner, and Travis Hunter would be the runner-up. And that could change uh, in the next weeks, but that's my stance on the Heisman race. The NFL next NFL rookie report. So I took 10 rookies, and let me just say I've enjoyed watching this class. They've been This class has been solid. The 2024 class took 10 rookies who stood out to me the most, based on what they did this season with their teams. There's other guys, a few guys I just go I'll talk about because they weren't written down. But Drake May for the Patriots, he had a good debut. He had 3 touchdowns. They lost by 20, but he looks solid. I say keep starting him, and I think he'll be fine. You got to give him time to improve. Spencer Rattler, he just doesn't look ready. The 2 weeks he's played with the Saints, he just doesn't look ready. The first half of the Bucs game was convinced me, okay, maybe he's solid. But I'm not saying that he's bad or anything because he's only played 2 NFL games. But he just doesn't seem ready out there. Seems like he needs to spend some more time on the bench before he's thrown out into the fire. It's just unfortunate that Derek Carr ended up getting injured, which forced Spencer Rattler into the fire like it did. But let's get into the actual River report. First, Jaden Daniels has a 75% completion percentage, 1,404 yards on the season, 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and the Commanders are leading the NFC East. Jane Daniels looks comfortable. The Bucks game was a blowout. Their first week, they lost to the Buccaneers, but even in that game, he looked really good. And he's just keeps improving each and each week. Even again, they just lost against the Ravens. He's still looking good in that game. He was keeping up with Lamar. Lamar was the better player, but Jaden Daniels was able to keep up. And not many quarterbacks can do that when it comes to keeping up with Lamar Jackson. Jaden Daniels, he's special. He's going to be great. He just continues to improve. He's had a good season right now. He looks like he'll be offensive rookie of the year. But we're just heading into week 7 of the season. So it's no need to we get down that road when we come to it in the next 7 weeks, probably by week 14, talking about who should win Rookie of the Year. Caleb Williams, 65% completion percentage, 1,317 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. It started off slow, but he's improved each and each week. He's starting to look more comfortable. I've been keeping up with the Bears, trying to see what they can do, what how Caleb's doing. The last game, you can say, oh, we played the Jaguars. They're still an NFL team. He's improving each and each week. You have to play who's in front of you. So the weak opponents, that strength of schedule, that doesn't mean too much to me because you can't play everybody in the NFL. You got to take what comes to you, and you just got to make the most of it. And I think he's gotten better each and each week, and he's improving, and he's keeping up with Jaden Daniels. I know people try to say Jaden Daniels smiles better than Caleb Williams. No, it's really close. It's really close. They've been both of those quarterbacks have been great, and it's great to see the number one and number two quarterbacks just continue to get better each and each week. And they've been so good that their game that they were gonna have. They had a week 8 game that was gonna happen at 1 o'clock, and it was gonna happen at 12 o'clock. And the 3:25 game was the Eagles and Bengals. Those two games were switched for each other because of how good Caleb Williams and Jay Daniels have been so far. So now Joe Burrow and the Bengals will play Jalen Hurts and the Eagles at 12 o'clock that day, while Jaden Daniels and his Commanders plays Caleb Williams and his Bears at 3:25. That shows you how insane those two have been. The next rookie, Joe Alt from the Chargers offensive lineman, he's just been really good. He's been able to create separation uh, for J.K. Dobbins to do what he needs to. Been able to help Justin Herbert get some time in the pocket. It's as simple as that because it's hard to get stats for offensive linemen. But I think he's just been really good this season, made a really good impact. It's, it was shown, especially in the first few weeks, and he's still doing a really good job. But yeah, I had to get a lineman out of these guys because you got to shout out somebody for what they've been doing because offensive line is important. So shout out to Joe Alt. The team is having a great season. Cam Little from the Jaguars. The Jaguars needed a kicker last year, and there's some teams that need kickers now. And Cam Little coming out of Arkansas, he's been great. He's 10 of 11 on field goals this year and 11 of 11 on extra points. The only field goal he missed was like a 49-yarder. So that's still pretty solid. So on the season overall, he's a 20 of 21 on kicks, and that's really good. That's over 94% kicking percentage. So just keep doing your thing. And the Jaguars, they aren't good this year, but he's doing his job. Even that one missed field goal doesn't change Jacksonville's season. But to know that you have special teams is a very underrated part of football. I always like to always talk about that. But it's nice to know that the Jaguars, they at least you have a kicker. At least somebody on special teams can do, or on your team in general can do something. So when Jacksonville is back to being a good team again, you have a reliable kicker when you get into clutch game situations. Cooper DeJean, defensive back for the Eagles. He has 6 tackles, one quarterback hit, point 0.5 sacks, and he's he has one fumble for, and he isn't starting right now. He started his first game last week, and he's just been solid for us. Our pass defense isn't great, but Cooper DeJean, he's been a bright spot. And he shot him and Quinion Mitchell, also another rookie. They shined in that Browns game, their first time starting together. And it was a struggle at first. They got it together because their rookie defensive back, rookie cornerback starting and just and they'll play games, but seeing them actually start together, they were great to see. And Cooper DeJean, I was gonna pick somebody from the Eagles. It was Cooper DeJean they ended up picking. It's been really solid. And we have him doing kickoff returns sometimes, but it's kind of surprising because I feel like we could use Will Shipley for that since really he's on offense and he's fast. If we're gonna draft him, we know he's not gonna be started because we have Saquon Barkley. So I wish he would do more kickoff returns. Brock Bowers from the Raiders. The quarterback situation there is terrible, but Brock Bowers, 37 receptions, 384 yards, and one touchdown. Yeah, average 4.6 yards per catch. One of the best. He was the best tight end going into the draft, and the Raiders getting him where they did, there was a steal, in my opinion, when the draft happened. He's made a really great impact. Uh, they got rid of Devontae Adams now, so his touches are going to go up even more. Despite who the quarterback is, whether it be Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell, it's not going to be great until next year, probably when the draft happens. But Brock Bowers is going to have a great season. He's just been a phenomenal rookie tight end so far. Dallas Turner for the Vikings. For the Vikings have one of the best defenses in the league right now. And Dallas Turner, he's not starting, but he's been getting some playing time on the season. The Vikings are undefeated going into they play the Lions. The Vikings are 5-0. The Lions are 4-1. That's gonna be a good game, a division game. See whoever wins that take control of first place in the NFC North for the time being. But back to Dallas Turner, 6 tackles, one tackle for loss, one quarterback hit, and one sack. For a guy that's not starting, and barely not getting much playing time. He's got to work his way into that role. I think he's gonna keep performing nice in the minutes that he's getting, and eventually by the end of the year, he'll be seeing the field a lot more. Malik Neighbors for the Giants. She has Daniel Jones as his quarterback, but on the season, he has 52 targets, 35 receptions, 386 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He's been having a great season. The He's made Daniel Jones look better than what he has in past years. And that's not saying much because Daniel Jones still doesn't look too great. And he was out recently with an injury. But Malik Neighbors is having a good season. And Keon Coleman, he has 20 targets so far, 12 receptions, 201 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's just really impressive. And then he isn't getting a lot of snaps for the Bills. They just got Amari Cooper, so it might go down, or it could go up depending on how it's performing. Because you still got Khalil Shakir, Matt Collins, and Keon Coleman. So those are three trying to figure out which one of these guys do we trust the most to keep in our rotation and keep out on the field. I think Keon Coleman here keep improving. Oh, one guy I didn't talk about, Marvin Harrison from the Cardinals. I don't have his stats pulled up, but he was out the last 2 weeks for the concussion. But when Kyler Murray gets on the ball, he's on fire. It's just his touches are so inconsistent with the Cardinals. I don't really know what's going on there. Feel like, and they'll talking about the games he played. Obviously, he's been injured, but when he was out there playing, and I think he's coming back this weekend or on Monday when they play, but he needs to be getting targeted more. Now we can transition into the WWE recap from this week. Not gonna go by like Raw or SmackDown how I usually do because the brand split is basically dead. I know they got Crown Jewel coming up and all that, but you got the Cody Rhodes, he's calling out Gunther to come Like that match is so pointless. I don't even want to talk about that. Yeah, that's not even important. But the important stuff, like I said, the brand split is dead. But the Motor City Machine Guns won their debut on WWE in a match against who did they? It was a match against Pretty Dead, no, against A Town Down Under and Los Losarios, and then DIY also beat the Street Profits and Pretty Deadly. So DIY Motor City Machine Guns next week on SmackDown when it takes on the Bloodline. But WWE is slowly reestablishing the tag team division as tag team title tournaments got started both on Raw and SmackDown this past week. The Viking Raiders, War Raiders, whatever you want to call them, they came back, got a win. They might go far on the Raw side of things. And either Motor City or DIY is going to be facing the Bloodline soon. And they just focus a lot on tag team wrestling, providing good tag team matches in the 2 hours of each show that we got. And I hope this continues. I expect it to continue because everything else is established. You got the mid card scene is looking good on both sides. The world title scene looks good. Feel like the women's title scenes could improve, but the tag division is getting pretty solid. And yeah. Speaking of tag team wrestlers, Lash Legend, she had a very impressive match. Got a victory over Piper Niven as then Bianca and Jay were out in the crowd. And apparently Lash Legend and Jakar Jackson, it's like a trial run for them on the main roster. On NXT, they're supposed to be fighting Damage Control because WWE is really high on them. And if this little run that they're on right now goes well, they'll be permanent members of the main roster. So yeah, that was very impressive what Last Legend did on SmackDown. Randy Orton, he wants Kevin Owens at Crown Jewel, but Nick Aldis like, I can't make that happen. It's because of the people up above. So Randy Orton, he has to go to Triple H to get this match made because that's the only way that it's gonna happen. That's it. So Randy Orton, he wants Kevin Owens at Crown Jewel, and it'll probably get made official, and it'll be a great match. I did see that Kevin Owens' contract might be expiring soon, but hopefully he decides to resign. I hate to see him leave WWE. Uh, oh, and when I was talking about the brand split being dead, the bloodline, this story continued all through the week. Jay was talking to, well, Jay and Braun Breaker have a match on Raw, and they have a match on this upcoming Raw. Jay was backstage in the locker room. He seen his brother Jimmy, didn't want to talk to him. It was like, it's like, leave me alone, man. I'm done with He's done with all that. Then Jay comes to SmackDown, interrupts Solo, and he was like, I don't want to see the family be divided. That's not, but you want to take down Roman, that's cool, but don't do it by dividing the family. Ask him why he got the Tongans and Fatu because they stayed away from them. And then later, Jay sees Roman and Jimmy, these, as they're all backstage. And Jimmy starts smiling because he's surprised. Then Roman was like, I'm proud of you. We all are. And Jay was like, no, you, because that's what Roman said last week when Jimmy proposed the idea of them going to get Jay. And now it's like, what is Roman gonna do? And Roman tells Jimmy that he's gonna acknowledge Solo. What he means by that, no clue. Because when he goes out there, he was like, I acknowledge you, Solo. And Solo's like, that's not enough. He wanted him to acknowledge him as the tribal chief. And Roman refused to do that. Him and Jimmy got beat down. Jay was probably out the arena already. But the seeds that were planted, the bloodline is gonna cost Jay the title to Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker's gonna get it back on Monday. That's how I see this playing out. Just as a quick recap of what happened at WWE this week, because those are the biggest stories, the most important stuff that happened. A lot of it happened on SmackDown. Things like SmackDown has been the better show recently, but Raw still solid. Like I said, tag team divisions on both brands are looking pretty solid. To recap AEW, because I watched Dynamite this week following what Wrestle Dream, but I wasn't able to see Wrestle Dream, but I heard that Mariah May only got one question in her press conference. So Mariah May, the AEW Women's World Champion, only got one question, And I know it'd be a lot of journalists and analysts there because I've watched some of those press conferences. So the fact that they only had one question for the women's world champion is outrageous. But I'm gonna stick with Mariah May. She was pissed off about that because she went backstage and she talked about it. Then Anna Jay, and she was like, AEW isn't where the best wrestle. It's where everyone hides from the glamour. Everyone said everyone's, or not hide, but scared. Mariah May claims everybody is scared of her. But Anna Jay comes back there, presses her, and Anna Jay, she gets all up in her face. Looks like we could be getting Mariah May versus Anna Jay at some point. That'd be a cool match, I guess. Then I'm gonna kind of skip all over because I ran out of room on my notes, so I had to write stuff in other places. But the main event was Christian Cage. He beat Jay White because of Kip Sabian and Adam Page. I I was so confused on what was happening because I wasn't really interested in Christian Cage versus Jay White, so I just watched the match on YouTube. Then I seen that Adam Page and Kip Sabian got involved. That was random, but uh, and I don't think Christian Cage should be getting wins over guys like Jay White. I can understand if you're gonna do something with Jay White and Adam Page, but at least have Jay White get the win because I feel like he's just taking an unnecessary pin for no reason. Adam Cole and MJF in a very confusing rivalry because they were both out with injuries for a minute, but Adam Cole was the one that turned on MJF. It wasn't the other way around. But they're making it seem like MJF is the bad guy in this situation, when really it's Adam Cole who's the bad guy here. That just doesn't make any type of sense to me. So it's really confusing the way that they're doing this because they had a promo, did this and that. It was like MJF, he's he opened up, he allowed himself to open up, and he hates that so much because that was never supposed to happen. So what wasn't supposed to happen again because it happened once and he regretted it. So you see, but yeah, MJF, Adam Cole, gonna have a match again at some point. The rivalry made sense when it first started, and it became a tag team. But now everything's just confusing now because I don't get what they're doing at this point. And oh, Mercedes Moné and Queen Aminata put on a banger of a match for the TBS Championship. It was a really good match, back and forth action. Queen Aminata had some good moves, had in like this leg lock submission, and it was hard for Mercedes to get out. And then Mercedes, she eventually hit the backstabber and put her in the bank statement. I don't know if that's what it's still called, but the submission she does, and Queen Aminata ended up tapping out. That was a really good match. It was probably the best match from uh, Dynamite. I really enjoyed it. And Mercedes retained her TBS championship. FTR defeated the Learner's Tree, Big Bill and Brian Keefe in the tag team match. Not too much to say there. I mean, I expected this FTR, really them against Big Bill, because Brian Keefe doesn't do too much nothing. Private Party and the Young Bucks had a promo, which it was, I didn't watch Wrestle Dreams, so I don't know what happened. So all I know is that the Young Bucks beat Private Party, but it's good to see that they're trying to build new tag teams like Private Party, because they're a fun tag team, and to build them up to be a top contender, it's gonna be really good to see. Because it's like it was at a point where it's like it feels like it's just the Young Bucks, the FTR, and it was one more team. I forgot who, but the Acclaim, the, not the was, but it felt like at one point it was not that many teams. But I feel like them building up Private Party, it's gonna be great for them, and I think they can win those titles at some point. Not now because it'll be way too soon, but they'll take them at some point. The Don Callis family had a promo with Cal Fletcher uh, to catch the what Don Callis, Brian Cage, or somebody else. But Cal Fletcher, essentially, he's turned on Will Ospreay now. They were best friends. That's no longer the case. Ospreay didn't make an appearance. Might still be out from what happened at Wrestle Dream, but he'll maybe come back in the next few weeks. Shelton Benjamin had a match with Leo Rush. It was Shelton Benjamin's debut AEW match. The clips I have been seeing online made it seem like Leo Rush just got dominated. But when I actually watched the full match, I was like, wow, this was a really great match. And Shelton Benjamin, he did. Leo Rush did his thing. I want to put up him first. Just as small as he is, like I know he's a good wrestler, but that was just really impressive. And Shelton Benjamin, he ended up getting the win, of course. It was a really good match, enjoyable. After the match, MVP for the business card on a Leo Rush. Then uh, MVP, they called out MVP and Shelton Benjamin. They called out Swerve if they want a match. So in 2 weeks at AEW Fright Night, it's gonna be the day before Halloween, if I'm not mistaken. Shelton Benjamin and Swerve Strickland gonna be match on Dynamite. And that'll probably be the main event. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. And then the last thing to recap AEW, which this is really what started the show and ended the show. Well, yeah, started. This happened all throughout the show. John Moxley, he cut a promo. He was like, "This is my company now. I'm me and the Blackpool Combat Club are taking over." So that's him, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, a pack, and it's just Marina Shafir. That's the woman. I kept forgetting her name, but Marina Shafir. Those five, they're taking over AEW. The conglomeration and the elite, they had a match. Blackpool Combat Club interrupted it, and they were just beating down Orange Cassidy. The elite, they were just watching. Guys from the locker room came out. The Beast, Blackpool Combat Club, they're just dominating everybody. Then you cut later in the show, still brawling backstage, and Daniel Garcia and Private Party, they pressed the elite because they was like, if y'all are the EVPs, why is nothing being done about this? And they kind of then Garcia and was Jack Perry, they got into it, had to be separated. And it was like John Moxley and his group are just taking over. It's crazy to see. And it's really good for John Moxley because I'm loving this. And Brian Davidson, he's now a part-time wrestler. He's gonna take some time off for now, but when he comes back, he'll be part-time. That's wow. That's one way to recap AEW. And oh yeah, a little bit of NHL talk. Seen a few games this week, not too many, but I was looking at three teams. I was looking at trying to decide who has been most impressive so far. The New Jersey Devils are 5-2, have 10 points, a +8 point differential, and Paul Cotter has 5 goals. He's tied with two other people for the second most goals in the season so far. Got the Calgary Flames who are 4-0, have 8 points on the season, a .9 point differential. And Ramus Anderson, he has a +7, plus minus, which is tied for fourth best in the league right now. Then the Winnipeg Jets, they're 4-0, have 8 points, a +13 point differential. And Connor Hellebuck he's only giving up 1.25 goals per game, and that's second in the league. So that's really impressive. So all three of these teams have been really impressive and have guys that are doing really impressive stuff. So it's like trying to figure out who's been the most impressive is a difficult task because you got New Jersey who has the biggest sample size, but they'll play 7 games. Got Winnipeg who actually got second in the league and uh, for a goalie only giving only giving up 1.25 goals a game. That's really impressive. I forgot who was number one, but he was only giving up point 0.5. So that's really impressive too. You got Calgary, who you have got a guy who's top five in the plus minus category. But I think I'll go to Winnipeg Jets. That's the most impressive. They're third. They're technically had a third best record in the league, tied with the Flames for a second. But I'll go to Winnipeg Jets because they have +13 point differential, and their goalie is only giving up one point per game essentially, and that's really impressive, especially in hockey where this is sport. You don't want to have high-scoring games. You don't want the score to be 5-6 or team scoring 10 points. You want this game to be a gutted out win, a 2-0 victory. That's how you want hockey games to be. So I say the Winnipeg Jets have been the most impressive so far. It's only been 2 weeks of action, so it's plenty more season to go. I don't think I don't know how consistently hockey be a topic on here. I'm gonna try to talk about it every week that I watch. I try to watch every week, try to get some more hockey content on the channel. Just give y'all a good update. The MLB playoffs have been going on, and the the Yankees and Guardians game 5 has probably started already. And I have to check that out once I get done recording this. But the MLB playoffs been going on, and we're getting close to the World Series right now. Around the way, the Dodgers and Mets have been playing in a really weird series. Mookie Betts has been the most efficient out, out of all the players for both teams, but none of these games have been close. Mookie Betts, he's had a great week, been doing his thing. None of these games have been close, though. It was 2 shutouts in this series so far. The Dodgers are leading 3-2. They can close it. They can close it tomorrow. Don't know what time they play. I have to check. But the Dodgers won game 1 9-0, won game 3 8-0. But the Mets won game 2 7-3. And after the Mets won that, you were thinking, well, maybe this could be a really competitive series. It could go to 6 or 7 games. But then the Dodgers turn around game 3 and they win 8-0. Then they win game 4 10-2. And now they've won 3 out of 3 games by 8 or more runs. Then in game 5, the Mets, they completely take over. They're up early. They're up by like 7 or 8 early. And they only win by 6. They win 12-6. But none of these games have still been close. But Mookie Betts has been really consistent. It was just like, wow, dude. Uh, so close to the World Series, you would expect at least some type of consistency. That's like all these games in baseball terms have been blowouts. Then you got a series like the Yankees versus the Guardians. So this has been a good series. The Yankees won the first 2 games, won game 1 5-2, game 2 6-3, and then really for these games they actually felt close. Like both teams had a chance to win, and in the Dodgers and Mets series, it feels like whoever gets out to the lead early, it feels like they're gonna win the whole time, and it doesn't change. Then the Guardians won game 3 7-5, and the Yankees won game 4 8-6. One of these games, David Fry had a walk-off double to win the game. I had to go back to it to find it. I cannot find it right now. Where is it? Game 4, the Yankees. I don't think the Juan Soto had a good game in that one. Trying to find the David Fry game for the Guardians. Oh yeah, David Fry hit a walk-off home run double in game 3. He had he had 2 at-bats, one run, 1 hit, and 2 RBIs and 1 home run in that game. That was probably one of the best games from the Yankees and Guardians series, game 3, keeping the Guardians alive. And they're down 3-1 now. Tonight they have a chance to cut it and make it 3-2. But we'll see what happens. And well, in uh, the last thing I always do, the last segment is athletes of the week. So I'm gonna start with the NFL. Went with Will Anderson Jr. this week. I'd had some offensive players a lot. I'd had a kicker on here. Finally went with a defensive player. Will Anderson Jr. The Texans had a dominant 41-21 win over the Patriots. Will Anderson, he had 3 sacks, 8 tackles, and 4 tackles for loss. It was going to be difficult for me not to give it to him with how dominant of a performance he had. So shout out to Will Anderson Jr. For WWE, went with the Motor City Machine Guns, winning their debut match against A-Town Down Under and Los Lotharios at a really fun and competitive triple threat tag team match, especially when they had their backs against the walls because not only are they the new teams, but they're also the only babyface team in the tag team match. So they were being targeted from the get-go. For the MLB, went with Aaron Judge as the Yankees are up 3-1 on Cleveland right now. He had 14 at-bats this week, 4 runs, 3 hits, uh, 6 RBIs, and 2 home runs. Aaron Judge has had a really good week, one of the best players in baseball. This makes sense. For the WNBA, Brianna Stewart, her efficiency was down. She struggled only 35% from the field, 26% from 3, but she shot 94% from the free throw line. had the big 30-point, 11 rebound game, averaged 20.6 points, 10.3 rebounds, 3.3 assists, point 3 steals, and 2 blocks per game. So she was doing everything. She was getting rebounds. She was playing defense. She was just struggling efficiency wise. But other than that, Brianna Stewart had a really good week, and they won 2 of those 3 games. And for AEW, I went with Mercedes Monet. She retained the TBS title against in a great match against Queen Aminata. And like I said, it was that match and the match with Shelton Benjamin and Leo Rush. Those were really good matches. So shout out to Mercedes. Shout out to everybody that won the Athlete of the Week for me this week. So and that's gonna be it for this for episode 17 of Weekly Sports Talk with Ed. Make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below where you talked about anything I talked about today. Peace.